It is a Roman denarius minted in the reign of Augustus, 95% pure silver. It is not money as you have been taught to think of it. It is a physical store of energy, a compact representation of one day's labor for a skilled legionary. It is wealth. This is also a promise. A 100 billion mark note. In 1923, it was also briefly money. It was a promise that was broken. A promise so diluted, it became a joke then a tragedy. It was not wealth. It was the illusion of wealth. You are told that empires die by the sword, that they are toppled by barbarians at the gates. History shows this is a lie. Empires are not murdered. They commit suicide, and the weapon is always the same. The printing press. This is the rational historian. Our mission is to reveal the patterns of financial collapse that repeat through history, so you can recognize them early and act wisely. And this is the most predictable, most destructive pattern of all. When an empire's promises become too large to fund, it will not default. It will print. This is the law of currency collapse. It is not a failure of the system. It is the function of the system in its final, desperate phase. It is a silent, systemic theft that transfers wealth from the savers to the state. You think your money is safe. You think your savings are a store of value. But history shows that trust is the first and most valuable commodity to be debased. The blueprint for this collapse is identical. Whether in ancient Rome or the modern world, it is a tragedy in 3 acts: debasement, delusion, and death. To see the future, we must look at the ghosts. Act 1. The slow debasement. Rome. The Roman Empire was the most dominant economic and military machine in human history. It ran on 2 things: grain from Egypt and silver from Spain. Its soldiers, its legions were paid in the denarius, a coin of pure silver. This was a hard, tangible promise. The empire expanded. It built aqueducts, roads, a welfare state, and a massive professional army. Its expenses were relentless. By the reign of Emperor Nero, the silver mines were running low. The wars were constant. The tax base was shrinking. The government's appetite for spending was infinite, but its income was finite. Rome had a choice. It could cut spending, which meant dissolving its army and collapsing, or it could find a new way to pay. A modern government would borrow. Rome had no one to borrow from. So it turned to an insidious, invisible tool: debasement. If you cannot get more silver, you simply use less silver in each coin. Nero was the first. He clipped the coins, shaving the edges. Then he mixed the silver with 10% copper. He paid the soldiers with these new poisoned coins, but he demanded taxes be paid in the old pure silver coins. The people were not stupid. They understood. They hoarded the good coins. Only the bad, worthless coins circulated. This is an iron law of economics. Bad money drives out good. The debasement accelerated. Each emperor, more desperate than the last, poisoned the currency further. By 300 AD, the denarius, once 95% silver, was less than 0.5% silver. It was a worthless copper token, given a thin silver wash. The result: hyperinflation. Prices for wheat, for oil, for soldiers' pay exploded. The economy broke. Trust evaporated. The empire fragmented, not from a single blow, but from 1,000 internal cuts. The collapse was not just economic, it was social. When a government destroys its money, it destroys the trust that holds a society together. Modern rhyme. We no longer clip coins. We call it quantitative easing. We don't mix copper with silver. We add digital zeros to a central bank's balance sheet. The method is cleaner. The result is identical. Act 2. The delusion. Song Dynasty China. You were told that paper money is a modern invention. This is also false. In the 11th century, Song Dynasty China was the most advanced economy on earth. It had a problem. Its money was iron coins. They were heavy, difficult to transport. Merchants created a brilliant solution: a private receipt. You would deposit your heavy coins in a trusted vault and receive a light, convenient paper note called jiaozi. It was a claim check for real wealth. It was a technology of trust. It worked perfectly, so perfectly that the government noticed. The Song dynasty, like all empires, faced military threats. It needed money for its army. It saw these paper notes and had an idea. It nationalized the system. It took control of the printing mechanism. At first, the government promised that every note was 1-to-1 backed by metal in the vault. Then facing a war, it printed just a few extra notes. Notes that were not backed by anything. It was a miracle. The government could fund its armies from thin air. The people at first trusted the paper. Then they saw more and more of it. Prices for rice and silk began to rise. The government, needing more, printed faster to keep up with the rising prices. Within a generation, the jiaozi, the world's first paper money, was worthless. The system collapsed. The dynasty was financially and then militarily shattered. Paper money is not wealth. It is the illusion of wealth. It is a technology of trust. And when that trust is broken by the printer, it breaks forever. Modern rhyme. Every central banker today who says, "Don't worry, it's not backed by gold. It's backed by the full faith and credit of the government." They are repeating the exact, fatal delusion of the song Act 3, The Death, Weimar Germany. What Rome did over 300 years, and the song did over a generation, the Weimar Republic accomplished in 18 months. Germany, 1921, it had lost the Great War. It was crushed by the Treaty of Versailles. It owed impossible reparations, a debt so large it could only be paid in gold or foreign currency. The government was weak, the people broken, the nation bankrupt. It could not tax. It could not borrow. It had only one tool left, the Reichsbank. The papier-mark, the printing press, mechanism, they printed, not slowly like Rome, but with industrial German efficiency. They printed money to pay the government's bills, to pay for reparations, to pay for salaries. At first, it was a relief. Unemployment vanished. The stock market boomed. It was a party, and then the math caught up. This is the tipping point of trust. It does not fade. It shatters. In 1922, a loaf of bread cost 160 marks. By late 1923, that same loaf cost 200 billion marks. This is hyperinflation. It is a monetary black hole. Workers were paid twice a day, so they could run to the store before their wages became worthless by evening. People burned money in their stoves. It was cheaper than buying. Firewood, a man's life savings, a pension. Built over 50 years of German. Discipline could not buy a single cigarette. It wasn't just an economic collapse. It was a moral collapse. It wiped out the middle class. It destroyed the savers. It rewarded the debtors. It shattered the social contract and paved the way for the political horrors that followed. Hyperinflation is not just rising prices. It is the final, violent death of a society's past and its future. Modern rhyme. You look at the charts and think, it's insane. But the charts of our own global debt, our own central bank balance sheets, they are beginning to go vertical. 2. Rome, China, Weimar, Zimbabwe, Argentina. The names change. The geography changes. The math does not. Now we come to the objection kill, the final wall of denial. You are thinking, but we are different. The US dollar is the global reserve currency. The euro is backed by all of Europe. It's not the same. This is the "it's different this time" fallacy. It is the most expensive lie in history. The US dollar's reserve status is not a shield. It is a prison. It does not prevent the collapse. It merely globalizes it. It allows the system to absorb more poison, to grow sicker, to build leverage before the inevitable systemic heart attack. Collapse isn't random. It's the math catching up. The system is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do in its final phase. Transfer wealth from the savers to the debtors, from the people to the state, through the silent, invisible tax of inflation. So, if the system is programmed to fail, what is the antidote? How do you protect yourself? The answer is the same today as it was for the Roman citizen hoarding his pure silver. You must escape the system. You must turn fear into strategy. This is the dual payoff, the two-part formula for financial survival. First, hard assets. You must own what cannot be printed. When Rome fell, the land remained. The gold endured. Real value hides in what can't be printed. Gold, land, productive ownership. Things that have intrinsic, not assigned value. These are not investments to make you rich. They are insurance to keep you from becoming poor. They are the anchors of wealth when the paper tide goes out. Second, hard skills. But assets can be seized. Land can be taxed. Gold can be confiscated. The one thing that is truly yours is what you know. When the papier mark failed, the professor with 1 billion marks in the bank, he starved. The plumber who could fix a pipe, he ate. The ones who could feed, fix, or trade, they rose. Your ability to create real value for other humans is the ultimate currency. It is portable. It is sovereign. It cannot be inflated by any government. The empires of the past died when they ran out of silver. The empires of today are dying because they have an infinite supply of paper. The patterns are not just history. They are a warning. They are a map. The financial world runs on trust. But history shows that trust is finite. If you want to see the next financial pattern before it repeats, subscribe.